All right, we're here with Papillion La Vista head coach Tim Williams, coming off another solid year. Coach Williams, I mean, obviously look at your year you guys had, some things you can build on. What do you like about your team now moving forward?
We had a young team last year. You know, we had 14, 15 seniors out, and we ended up only having 4 or 5 seniors that really played. 3 for a lot of time, so we got to fill in some of those spots. You know, we had a lot of juniors, a lot of sophomores playing last year, and some really close games that, you know, a couple we got and a couple we lost in the last seconds. And you know, we had a really good freshman class. You know, our freshman class won every game but one, and that was another loss in the last minute. You know, so it could have went any way, and we have some good kids in that class. So our youth is definitely on the upswing, and we're happy about that.
Yeah, and you've got one really big piece to build around, and Eric Ingwerson, 6'7", 230, and he's a legit 6'7", which I think is a key thing to let colleges know when you talk about him as a recruit, because when you see him in person, I think it doesn't take very long to see kind of the big picture and what he can be.
Yeah, Eric's a great kid. You know, there's a lot of things people don't see about Eric. Eric, when he was a sophomore, he couldn't catch very well. Couldn't block very well. He could catch, but he couldn't block very well. And I said, well, your JV year, your sophomore year, I'm going to put you in as a tackle, and you're going to play tackle, and you're going to learn how to block. And he didn't like that too much, but he did it. And then towards the end of his sophomore year, I let him bring 2 jerseys to JV games so that he could go in a little bit at tight end, go in back at tackle, you know, and he did it. The other thing that I tell, like I told Coach Rule, I told some other coaches as well, Northern Illinois coach, that his loyalty is great. He's had a couple different schools, kids ask him to come over there, and he just won't. He's happy where he is. He's very loyal to his school, and I think that goes a long way in today's world, you know, and kids know that. And it's like, hey, this kid's playing for us, and I think the kids rally around him.
First, talk about just getting that first offer and kind of how that kind of jump-started things for you as a recruit.
Yeah, so getting that first offer obviously opens up everything. Like, getting the first offer, definitely more coaches have started to be in touch with me and just talking to me. A lot of more Power 5s have started to talk to me after that first FBS offer. So it just definitely opens up a lot.
So Northern Illinois offered, but Nebraska visited your school. Who are the teams that you've heard from?
SDSU, Northern Iowa, NDSU, Wyoming, University of South Dakota, Kansas, and I think that's it.
You know, Matt Rule came to your building, though. I mean, I have to imagine that got a lot of kids' attention when the Nebraska head football coach walks down the hallways of Papillion, because it's been a while since probably that's happened.
Scott Frost never showed up in our building. I will say Coach Joseph, he showed up as an assistant, but that was the first, like, Husker coach that really came and was genuinely wanting to sit down and talk about our kids. Other than that, I haven't seen one. And even in my years when I was a head coach at Waverly, I didn't get any. There was no head coaches that would come to us there as well. So I mean, this is the first time I've had a head coach walk through our building. So it was nice and refreshing.
Tight end. Is everyone looking at you as tight end?
Yes.
What do you do well as a tight end?
Blocking is definitely, but I also have good hands, so that definitely helps.
I mean, you almost could. I mean, I'm not saying you're an O-lineman, but could you grow into an O-lineman type guy, or do you think you're always a tight end?
No, I'll play anything, whatever really helps the team, and just, yeah.
And then Peyton is the other guy we talked to here. You know, a 1,200-plus all-purpose back for you. Mm-hmm. What do you like about Peyton? Peyton's
our team leader. I tell coaches when they come in, he's our culture kid. You know, he's the kid that if he plays, whoever he plays for, by the middle of the season, by the end of the season, everybody on the team's going to like him, from the kid that doesn't play to the kid that plays every second, and every coach. Peyton's the leader in the weight room. Peyton's the leader on the field. Peyton makes that team move forward. He's everything that you would ever want in a kid, and that's why I'm hoping for the best for him, and it'll come.
Do you project him as kind of like an all-purpose guy on offense, or more of a defensive guy at the next level?
Personally, I think he'll probably be a defensive guy. He's a good offensive player. I like his toughness. He likes to go downhill. Sometimes I wish he would realize that if he cuts it back outside after he hits the second level, he might get more yards. But I think he likes to run over people, which is annoying at times, but it's kind of refreshing, the old school type running back, wanting to get those tough yards. But defensively, he's solid, smart player, and he makes good open field tackles and is extremely coachable.
Peyton, talk about your junior year and kind of what really jumped out about it as a running back and linebacker for the Monarchs.
I think the only really difference between my sophomore and junior year was my leadership role. Obviously, becoming an underclassman and going to my upperclassman years, I had to step up and lead some other kids because we had a young team. But, I still split reps both of the years, and I think we're going to continue to do that my senior year probably. But that was the only difference, leadership.
And then you had 1,200 all-purpose yards, 10 touchdowns. How did they use you in the offense?
More as like a north-south running back. I'd say Jordan Barrientos. He was more of a shifty guy. But I don't know, if we just needed yards, get a quick first down or something, I'd step in and try and get those.